With the country in lockdown and all focus being on the current coronavirus pandemic, you'd be forgiven for having missed that April 2020 sees some of the biggest employment law changes we've had for years. Employers do need to be aware of this. Some of these, or in fact all of these, are still coming in. And of course we've seen other changes related to the pandemic brought in on top of these changes. The first one to be aware of is the changes to statements of particulars. Now, this is the document that currently you're required to issue to all employees within the first 8 weeks of service. You'll now be required to issue that to both employees and workers. This is anyone that's going through your PAYE system by the end of their first day. And the list of details you're required to provide has also been extended. I won't go into them in detail on this video, but the full list is available on my website. So really important, this document, that you get it updated, and that not only do you get this updated and you make sure that you're compliant with the legislation, but it's also a really good chance to get your business protected. One of the things we've seen with the coronavirus pandemic and the closing of businesses, the need to lay off staff, is the importance of having contracts that really do work for what your business needs and protect you for the things that you don't think is going to happen. All of my clients had layoff and short-term working clauses in their contracts, which gave them the contractual right to lay off their staff. Now, prior to the furlough arrangements being brought in by the government, this gave relief to my clients because they knew that they had that right, they had that ability to protect their business, but also to protect the jobs of their employees, so that they didn't need to make them redundant and would be able to bring those people back on board once the pandemic was over. And of course, because this has hit nationally, the government's provided additional support in the form of furlough to enable us to pay 80% pay to those people. But of course, many times that your business might hit a crisis, it won't be a national crisis. It'll be something that just relates to your business. So having those clauses in your contract are really important for being able to see your business through those periods. But equally, there's other types of protections, things around holiday and making sure that you've got relevant notice from people, making sure you've got rules around how and when holiday is taken, rules around sickness, for example, that enable you to run and manage your business. So having a statement of particulars is important. It's important to make sure that you're compliant with the Employment Rights Act and the update that's coming in April this year, but also for the protection of your business. The other key change is regards to annual leave and the calculation of annual leave. We have up until now been taking a 12-week average where people's pay varies in terms of calculating a week's pay for the purposes of paying annual leave. As of April this year, 2020, that expands to a 52-week average. You need to make sure that you're updating your systems to manage a 52-week average. And of course, because of the coronavirus situation, the government has brought in temporary legislation which allows extended carryover of annual leave for up to 2 years, whereas normally you'd only be able to carry over leave over and above the statutory minimums and only into the next annual leave year. So be aware that you've got that ability to extend the carryover of leave, which may make things easier to manage when we do all get back to work and you need your employees working and not being off on holiday. But key to remember, update your systems. I think with everything else going on, it would be really easy to miss that update your systems to make sure that you're calculating average pay over a 52-week period rather than a 12-week period. Also important at this time is breaks in lengths of service. If we're breaking service, so somebody leaves and comes back, previously it's been a week with a weekend either side, and we've been able to say that new service starts, so somebody's not got continuity of service. As of April this year, that extends to 4 weeks. Someone will have to be out of work for 4 weeks before there's a break in their service. And this could affect people who are irregular workers. Many of those could find themselves with continuity of service that previously they wouldn't have had. and potentially with breaks in the way that businesses are running at the moment, that could have impacts, although I suspect the furlough scheme would have prevented much of that. And then the final change to tell you about is one I really do hope people don't have to use at this time, but unfortunately some will, both due to coronavirus and for the many other reasons that this leave has been brought in to start with, and that's parental bereavement leave. And that's an entitlement to parents who lose a child to have some paid time off to help them deal with and respond to and grieve the death of their child. So some key legislation updates there just to be aware of. Make sure that you are keeping yourselves up to date. Whilst your business is in this period, if you are on a slowdown, if you're in a quiet period, it might be an ideal time to look at contracts of employment, get them updated, get ready for coming back, and when the economy's growing, really being able to build your teams with a good solid foundation. And bear in mind what I said about statements of particulars. This isn't just about complying with the law. The right documentation and the right foundations is really important to being able to protect your business and manage your people in the way that makes your business productive and makes it run and successful.